Okay, guys. So some of you, it matters which way your pattern lays. It matters which way that it's going to be on your pajamas. What's wrong with this pattern right now?
Upside down.
Upside down. Exactly. So do you want your mustaches to be upside down on your pants? Yeah. Probably not. So,
Okay.
I want everyone to stand up, take the selvage in one hand, and then the other selvage in the other, and make sure that it's going to be the right way. Some of you it will matter, some of it will not matter. So put the selvage in one hand and then the other selvage in the other hand. So the other selvage is
Megan Link.
Yep. The cut will be on top.
Actually, short for this.
So you're going to put your white selvage in one hand.
Jasmine.
Come on, people.
And then the fuzzy selvage in the other hand.
I'm Indian stove project.
Okay? And then you're going to put the pretty sides together.
Wait, never mind. You're right.
So that way it's like inside out.
But no.
It does kind of sound.
So both salvages will be in one hand, and you'll have a fold on the other hand.
Okay.
Sounds like sad.
Okay?
Hey, Jonas.
All right, now you guys can just take a seat really quick.
So how come you three don't have anything done? You three boys? Because you weren't listening? You need to be listening.
All right, the next thing I want to show you guys is on your pattern. When you lay it down, you're going to want to be able to read it, okay? So before I go into the details on how to pin, I want to talk about the grain line. So I'm going to hold this up. The grain line is this line right here. It'll say grain line on it, and there'll be a little arrow. Your grain line is really important because it's going to run parallel to your selvage. Who knows what parallel is?
Side by side.
Exactly. They're going to run exactly the same. So I'll have you guys all come over here.
Are you so proud of me?
Okay. So I'll show you guys how to pin this. You're going to want both of them to be facing you so that way you can read it. If one of them is backwards, then your mustaches are going to be backwards on you too. So you might have mustaches facing the front, but on the back they might be backwards. Like they'll be upside down, and that would just be silly. So make sure that they're both the same way. And then the whole point of the grain line being parallel to your selvage on the side is so that way they lay the way that they were meant to lay on your body. Because have you ever had clothes that didn't fit you right, like they just kind of twisted or they're uncomfortable? They probably weren't sewn following the selvage and the grain line. So sometimes, like one time I had a skirt that was sewn incorrectly and it would always twist off to the side. So it's really important that you get these to run parallel. Does someone have a tape measure? I think here. Okay, so I'll show you how to do this so that way it lays correctly on you. You're going to take your tape measure.
Wait, so the grain line and the other grain line have to be parallel or no?
Nope, the grain line and the selvage. And the selvage is the white part and the fuzzy part. So you're going to take this and you're going to measure it, and it looks like it is 11.5. It does not matter how far it is as long as they're exactly the same. So it doesn't matter if it's 10 inches or 9.5 or if it's 11. And then you'll go up to the other part of the grain line. And this was 11.5. So then we'll go up here. It's not quite 11.5, so I'm going to just move it over so that way it's exactly the same. Okay, once you have that pinned, you're going to pin your second one, and then you're going to take a few pins and you're going to pin all the way around before you cut it. So to pin it, just stab it all the way through the fabric and the pattern, about 1 inch down, and then you'll come up. Be careful not to stab yourself. And so it's really important that your pins are facing in, so that way you don't stab yourself. The head will be on the outside. And if it's sticking out like this, you're not going to be able to use your scissors on this line. You'll be running into the pin. So just make sure that the pin goes all the way through and faces
the
in.
cutter, or are we gonna trace it?
We are going to cut it, but we're going to pin it all the way around first. Does that make sense? So it doesn't matter how many pins you use, but I recommend about every couple inches you pin. And then every couple inches here you'll pin.
A lot of pins.
So then you'll do every couple inches all the way around both of them. If you want your pants to be longer, we'll have to extend it, so you'll have to ask me or Mrs. Love how to do that if you want longer ones, because we'll have to measure that before we cut. Otherwise, they'll just be short. So, any questions?
If we're putting a whole bunch of pins in it, won't we have holes in? Like tiny ones, so you won't be able to see them, but won't we have like holes all the way around?
No, not necessarily, because
Air holes.
the fabric will kind of morph back together. Does that make sense?
Yeah,
The way the
please.
fabric lays. So if I stab it, because the pin is so small, do you see where the holes are?
No.
So there won't be any holes, because it's so little that it goes in between the threads. It doesn't leave a big hole. So that way you guys can cut it out, and then we'll probably be sewing a different day. But yeah, you guys can go ahead and get started.
You take a class like this in high school?
In college.
Facts?
In high school or college?
High school. It's just called facts.
Well, it's a sewing class. It's like textiles one, I believe.
What do you do for that?
After I'm done recording. Okay.
Then do they also have a cooking class too? That's a separate one.
Yeah.
Just some fun and then
Yeah,
do we just have one of the containers per table? Or?
Yeah, you can just grab one for now. And
we're gonna want.
Where do I get that?
you do it right here.
Well, yeah.
This is a salvage.
But you have to measure. You need to measure right above your belly button and around your bottom. You can come over here and do it, and I'll help you. Here. You borrow this tape measure real quick, and I'll help you.
Above my belly button?
Yeah.
Okay, I got that.
Okay, over around your bottom.
But you should face it up so that way you can read it. Like that. So this line just needs to measure
Okay, what was your around your bottom?
41.
What was around your waist? Okay.
what you don't want. This is probably like 3 inches. And this is like
I can look at
oh, does that make sense? This.
Okay, do you think...
It doesn't matter where
I don't care.
why is that still I don't want to see each
I'll just do extra large.
Okay.
As long as this.
I have to keep it for 2 more minutes, and then I'll get one for you. Okay?
Yeah, if you get it all the way pinned down. Yep.
And there goes pin.
Alright.
I'm pretty sure that's not how you do it, though. I don't know where the skills are. Did I do it right?
Yep, that's right. So then you'll just go grab a measuring tape, and you'll measure this line, to this line, and then this line, to this line. And as long as they're the same, it doesn't matter.
Eat Preston. How am I gonna cut my paper?
Because
Devin, do it on the ground real quick. Devin, do it on the ground real quick. You've been smart.
No, you just have to do the same. From here to there, and then over there.
It's at 13th Avenue. Come on, Devin. And one of the sections is John. Yeah, and I know how to do a backflip with a double flip and off book. And the split. And the split. On a skyscraper.
measure to the salvage.
Hey, is that like I can do a split.
I have an
Oh, it doesn't matter on this.
I'm not talking to you.
Devin,
Yep, Jasmine, you're right.
I'm going to your house to tell your mom.
Oh, you just move this. Oh, what I missed? Yeah.
take your 6-inch TV away.
How long do you want me to record?
Doesn't matter.
And oh, by the way,
You what? I would move this up all the way to the extra fabric at the end. Okay? Kind of put them close together.
get out of my bubble.
And then Katie, put them close together.
You even had Mason. Yeah, I know. 12 minutes.
How's the floor? Why is that? Why is the floor?
Yep. No, just this one, because that one can be a different number.
Yep, so you're gonna want. Oh yeah, that's me. I just
Can I use these 7 pins?
Yep.
How do you do this?
Ask your partner. A few more minutes. Ask your partner.
Yeah, we don't do that.
You're gonna have to find the measuring tape. That was hard.
I'm sorry.